మళ్ళీ చూసుకోవడం.
In case if they ask Informatica also, like what you have used in Informatica, they will ask. So then you just say like I have used Informatica to just see like whether mapping has been correctly done or not, and used to run the job workflow monitor. There will be workflow monitors. There we can run the job. Running the job is nothing but if you run the job, the data will flow from source to target.
Source to database.
Mm. Only I have used Informatica for this purpose. You can tell like this.
Okay.
If they ask like particularly with respect to Informatica. If they don't ask, you
Okay.
no need to tell anything. You tell only
Okay.
regarding this Azure Data Factory that pipeline I used to run by Putty tool, and Putty tool is nothing but Unix interface. Everything would be black in color. I will show here like how it would be. It would be like this, like command prompt only there would be, and you will just enter your your user ID and password. Then
Okay.
you will open the script. You will open the common directory. Did you see like any Unix commands? Like earlier, I have told to see some basic Unix when you asked me. Like you have gone through that or not? Basic
No, no,
Unix
no.
commands.
I
Basic Unix commands is nothing but like just to open the directory and see the scripts like what are present in it, and to run your script accordingly. So to run your pipeline, you need to go to that particular directory where your script was present. So for that, you will go to CDs, apps, some scripts, common. Like it depends upon the path of the common directory. You will open that path, and then if you say ls, then the list of commands that was available in that particular path would come. Then you need to pick that particular script from that, which would be used to run the pipeline. And after that, you would give a job name. Job name, who will you? I said
developers.
developers would be giving the job name. They will create a particular job name for the
Job
work,
name.
for the work they have, for the code, whatever they have created. The code, whatever they have created, is nothing but if we run the code, it will pick the source data and do, if it is direct mapping, it will just place in the target table directly, or it will do some transformation as per the logic they have written in their code and place in the target table. So that we call as a job name that we run through Putty here, or you can run in the Azure Data Factory directly in that interface as well. So but in this project you say like we have run through Putty tool, and the data would be placed in the target. Target is Azure Data Lake.
Okay.
So at least you have just a rough idea of the tools that what were used in the project at least. So what is what, which is used for what? Azure Databricks, for which purpose we are using in the project? Yesterday I told
Yes.
for which purpose we are using Azure Databricks.
If, we have to create one pipeline, and through that pipeline, we have to transfer the
Databricks.
source to target.
That is data
Uh,
factory. Pipelines and all everything would be present in data
in
factory.
data factory.
Data
Okay.
factory, there also you will just check whether the pipeline is running as ran successfully or not. That's it. If an
Okay.
error
Azure
comes,
data lake means it's a target.
Azure Data Lake is nothing but a cloud storage where
Tar-
the target table would get stored. That is Azure
yes.
Data Lake is a cloud storage.
Data lake.
Uh,
Okay.
that is a cloud storage, you need to say cloud target storage for your project. So I asked like Azure Databricks where it was used in the project. in the resume, like if you see in the interfaces
Yes.
what you have used in the project, there would be Azure Databricks. Then the question will come to you, like where you have used where you have used in your project Azure Databricks, and to which extent you have used Azure Databricks. The question comes like this, then what you will say?
Azure Database.
Mm. Azure Databricks is nothing but for analyzing purpose, I said. For analyzing purpose,
Okay.
for analyzing the target table, we are using this Azure Databricks facility. So in Azure Databricks, where we analyze,
Using Notepad, I mean, notebook,
yes, you will open
right?
a new notebook and you will
Notebook,
create
yes,
the
yes,
script,
yes.
or else like what you can do. If somebody have already done, then what you
Done.
can do? Then what you can do? Somebody had already done it. Somebody had already
Then we
created a
will
script
open
and
that.
done the
Yes.
validation for their
Mm.
particular table. So you wouldn't write the script again. Then what I said, what option you will use?
Just a second.
They will share it. What you will ask them
Share.
is, yeah, just share me the notebook. You will say, or else like for the
Okay.
project, if some already notebooks are there, they will the project people will share the notebooks what they have already. So no need to write from the scratch. So they will give it. So once you get the notebook, then what you can do? They have already shared you. Then can
Yes.
you directly run it, or you would do some operation before running it?
First, we have to check the pipelines or everything.
Pipeline in the data factor, that is
Azure
completed.
data lakes. Okay, okay.
That is completed. After that, I asked. Yeah,
Well,
you will be cloning it. That name you need to say.
so, okay,
You can't
cloning.
when they share the notebook, you can't directly run the sorry, you can't directly run your analysis, because
Okay.
that would be in the other name. If he give the permission, you might run it. Like, and the permission would be there as like just edit can run my notebook, or just sharing the notebook, like that some options would be there. Like Google, in the Google Drive, we will share, right, editor. Like if we share the editor as the option, like other people can edit your folder. If you say just view purpose, you can just view it, you can't run it. So generally when the scripts are being shared to you, that would be shared in view mode only. There was an option that you can edit it directly, but if you do some editing in that script, the person who had shared in his login also, that would get edited. So generally they won't give that option. They will just share the scripts with the view option only. Then you can't run that script. And what you need to do is, you need to
We have to clone it
clone it.
first.
Here, like save as option, we call that as clone. So you will
Okay.
clone it. After cloning it, then what you can do? After cloning, you can write you will write the SQL queries
Okay.
accordingly, and you will write it, I said, right, as per percentage SQL if you use, and you can write your SQL command and it will convert it into SQL format and it will give the output. So prior to that, what I need to told to select at the top, like there are like how many kinds of notebooks in Databricks. You have like R, Python, Scala, and SQL. Some four language,
Scala.
no, four kinds of notebooks are
Mm,
there. They will ask
okay.
like which notebook you have used. I have used notebook. If you will say like I have used notebook for doing analytical calculations and all on the target table using. Then the question they
Okay.
might ask you like which notebook you have used. Then you will say like I have used Python notebook in my project. Okay. And
Okay.
next, what you need to select, which cluster you need to select for running the tables. There would be some cluster that you need to select. You said cluster is nothing but a machine. They have selected for running the analytical operation on the particular table.
Okay.
So uh, there would be some different cluster configurations that they can create. That is in the backside of the framework. So they can create like high configuration cluster and low configuration cluster. Because like if you create high configuration cluster and you use for more time, that obviously costs. Cloud is everything like how much you use, you need to pay accordingly. So they will create this high configuration and some low configuration cluster as well for some small tables and small and for less size data and all. You can use a low configuration machine to run your to see your analytical validations. But for big data tables, like if there is like too much of data is there in the table, if you use a low configuration machine, then obviously it will take more time and it will fail also because of the size of the data. So then you need to use high configuration machine. High configuration machine in the sense like here you will select the cluster that that should be used for your table for validation. So then you will select the cluster. You will be asking like when a table was assigned to you, so you can ask like which cluster I need to use for this particular table for doing the validations. Okay. So in the target, for the target table, you will just get the count, some sample data, duplicate and null. Everything you will just get for the target table. That screenshots within Azure Databricks running the
Okay.
SQL. But for
Okay.
getting the source count, source duplicates and source mm, some sample data, then where we will connect, I said, where
Had,
we will be connecting. What is source here?
source is Hadoop.
Okay. So where we are
Mm.
going and connecting and seeing the data. Here in the Azure Data Lake, in Databricks, you are just running the SQL functions and you are seeing the like what is the output of the your query and you are keeping that. But for
In SQL.
in Hadoop, how you connect to Hadoop and
Okay.
see how you connect to it. How you connect to it for seeing your data to compare with the target. I have told yesterday this one.
Yes, yes, right. You already told, but
So that is DB visualizer. So you need to
yes, yes, DB is
keep
actually I'm
uh,
SQL is I have an
yeah.
idea, but DB is suddenly.
SQL you will write the language
Yes,
like
yes.
so
DB visualizer.
DB visualizer. By using DB visualizer you say like we connect to Hadoop Hadoop server and there we run the SQL queries to see the input data.
Save the yes,
Sorry,
yes.
so to see the source data to compare with the target data.
Mm.
Using the visualizer, we connect to Hadoop Hive server. You will say, okay. Then what else? So these are the different things between the source and target that you need to explain when you are explaining your project.
Okay.
Okay. So now I will start the workflow. Okay. So morning you would be having, and one more thing also I said regarding the project, like how many days a release and how many days a sprint for this project.
Okay. It's, around 45 days for sprint.
45 days, not sprint, 45 days a release. You shouldn't say sprint.
45 days. Okay, okay.
If you say
45
45
days.
days a sprint, then obviously they will know like you haven't worked in real environment with that one answer itself. Even though if you tell like many answers
Okay, okay.
with that one thing, they will judge that you don't have real experience, because in these all things like you need to be very careful regarding the sprint and the release, and regarding the
Okay.
environments. They will ask you like how many environments are there in your project. So then you need to say, I think like this I already told, like you will be having developer environment. After the developer environment done in the developer environment, they will push to the testing environment, QA environment, or UAT environment. So those are testing environment. There you test it. So from the QA environments, there would be some pre-production environment that might be there in some of the projects, or else directly to the production environment where the actual direct go live thing happens. Okay.
Mm,
I
45
believe
days to release. Okay.
45 days a release,
And
not to release. Like they will plan the work
45 days.
every 45 day, every 45 days, like whatever the tables they have done in this 45 days, they will move to production. Release in the sense,
Okay.
they will move the code from the this, they already sent to QA, right? So the they if we say that okay, then they will move from the developer environment to this production environment. Okay. In production environment, do we do testing?
Before production only we have to test it. Before launch we can
We
test,
will
but
test it, but
after.
during the production also, like on the day you are
Okay.
keeping like pushing your all your codes into production. So in one day, like you can't check. So they will pick some. It's like sample data, like 100 tables are there in that production on that particular day. They will pick some five or six, so that you can test it. You have already tested in the QA environment, but in the production environment
Okay.
also you need to test something when it is going live, such that
Okay.
like everything is going smooth and fine. Okay. So every 45 days a release. So you are clear with what is a release, right? Release is nothing but
Okay. Yes.
moving the code into
Moving
production.
according to production.
Production.
Okay.
And the sprint would be 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
2 weeks sprint. If in the 2 weeks the task hasn't been completed, then what will be done?
We have to give proper explanation for that. They
Okay.
will be considered.
So you need to explain the Scrum Master. So these are the roadblocks.
Yes.
Currently, you didn't be telling on the last day. in the day-to-day meeting only, like you say, like this, there is a roadblock for this item. So that
Okay.
inputs I need to get. Still, I was waiting for this, or still I was waiting for this access. So prior to that only, you need to tell to the Scrum Master. So he would be having an idea. So what is going on this task? If you tell on the
Okay.
last day, till today nothing has come, because he will be thinking like that you are having work and you are doing work. But if you
Yes, yes.
didn't speak out, then it would be a problem on the last day. If you say like task is not completed, then again it will be escalated. So in the day-to-day meeting only, if any there are roadblocks on your particular item which was assigned to you, you need to tell them.
Okay.
So every if in that 2 weeks that item was not completed, that would be moved to the next sprint with
Next sprint.
the proper explanation they would be having. So if the top level ask also, the scrum master will explain like, because of these things this hasn't happened in this particular sprint. Okay.
Okay.
Mm. Okay. So daily you would be having a scrum meeting in the morning.
Morning meeting.
General workflow I was saying.
Okay.
Daily you would be having a scrum meeting in the morning. In the scrum meeting, so in your team, like I already said, like what is the team size you are working? If they ask, then what you say? That also I have
Uh,
explained.
the three testers and four developers and one team lead.
Yes, this is the team size. You need to say that. Only that is a team.
Yes.
Then you need to say no. There are like some 40 people in the testing and some 35 developers. But our project, it was developed. It was splitted into small pods.
Okay.
So in our pod, this is the team size you will see.
Okay. Okay.
So if
Okay.
all these terminologies you use, then they will think like, yeah, this guy has some real experience.
Okay. Okay.
So firstly, you will be having your Scrum meeting in the morning. In the Scrum
Mm.
meeting, the testers, developers, the lead, and if sometimes also project manager also participate, and sometimes he might not participate. So, but
Okay.
the minimum people would be like the Scrum masters, the developers who are working, and the testers who are working, and the leads of both the parties, both the sides would be available. And what is the role of the Scrum Master? This I
Yeah.
have explained. This also I have explained. So what's his
Yes.
role?
He has assigned work to the testers and developers.
Okay, so his role is to plan the proper workflow.
Plan the proper work.
Already the work would be this much amount of work should be completed in this many amount of days. Already there would be like top level. So he will
Okay.
split the task into like individual people, such that there would be no no big load on particular person. So his intention is to see all the members have enough work for that 2 weeks, and there are no roadblocks, and there was smooth flow of the work. So these all his responsibilities. Any roadblocks are there and you are not able to clear, he will be speaking with those people to get those cleared. So these all things he would be doing. Okay, once in the morning meeting, you would be getting a clarity. So what are the work that would be happening today, and each person is having work or not. And if any doubts are there, you would be clarifying as the developer team also would be there. You would be clarifying with them, and they will also be giving their explanation, such that like what they were doing on that day and what is their plan, and when they are or once they complete, like when they are going to push that code into QA environment, those timelines and everything, like if some new enhancements are coming and they are implementing that in the code, so those all discussions would be coming in the morning meeting.
Okay.
So then you would be knowing like what is going on in the project. So after that, you would be having an internal daily meeting with the lead. So that planning is from the Scrum Master. Your lead might be having a different plan. Like even though the Scrum
Okay.
Master said like these tables should be completed within 1 or 2 days, your lead might plan internally in a better way so that it would be completed ahead, and you would be having some buffer time if some unseen some circumstances comes, like how to handle that. So his planning would be different. So there would be like again internal meeting with your lead, and he would assign what work you need to do on that day as per his plan.
Okay.
Then you will and he will give the timeline, like within how much timeline that work should be completed. So then you will
Okay.
start on your work. Here in this project, it's a table name would be assigned to you, and your job is to check that the data between source and target, between like once the data is moved from source to target, like there is no loss of data, and the data flow is moving as per the correct business requirement, like whether it is a direct mapping or transformation is there, like so that all things you need to check. So that's your job. Once the table would be assigned to you. Once the table is assigned to you, then what you would do, you will be opening the sheet which is provided by the developer,
Mm.
and also the mapping sheet would be provided. Apart from that, the details of the table would be provided. The details in
Okay.
the sense like whether it is a one-time load table, or it is a some other table. So what is the characteristic of that table they would provide, and then they will provide what is the frequency of the load, whether it is a daily, whether it is a weekly, what's the monthly. So those all things would be also provided, and what script you need to run and what job you need to run for moving the data from source to target, that would be provided. Again, the domain and subdomain of the particular table, that also would be provided, and what is the source database that would be provided, what is the target database that would be provided. So these all things would be provided to you by the developer in a particular sheet if they maintain, or else if any staging tables also are there, that table names also would be provided in that particular sheet.
Okay.
And there would be also a mapping sheet where like whether the column is matching correctly between source and target, like the same name was there, like what is the target name and what is the logic, whether it's a direct mapping or whether any primary key was assigned to it or not. So those all things would be available there. Then after that, you will the sheet was given to you, so you will start analyzing your table. Uh, what was the requisites, like whether all data that you required to analyze your table, to check your table, that data was present or there or not. You will check everything from the sheet.
Okay.
If in the sheet nothing was written, in the sheet everything should be written, but if the details were not given, even they said like this table was pushed to QA environment, then you will go to the particular developer and you will be asking, hello, like you said like this was pushed into QA environment, but these details were not given to me. In that way you will ask to them. So then they will give job names and the details, like whatever you wanted, they will give. And if you don't understand anything also regarding the table, like how from the source it is coming to the target, like what are the various things that they are performing, you can ask that also to them. It's not a problem, so they need to explain. So once that is completed, you will be understanding what's the table and what are the different things are happening in it in the target when it is moving from source. Then you will start your validations. If it is a direct mapping, you will just check for the one-time load. You will just check whether the data between the source and target is sorry, the columns are same or not, and the data type is same or not, and the count, duplicate, null, so and taking some sample data, and for complete data doing some minus validation. So all this you would be performing once you start analyzing. If in any phase, if you are seeing some problem, then you will raise a defect. Like how you will raise a defect, that thing also I explained, and what are the different things that you will be maintaining in that particular sheet or the site, like which tool you would be using for test management. There you will raise a defect, you said, I said. So what are the different things that would be maintaining there? I think like meeting will close, so you just I was just stopping, you rejoin again.
Okay. Bhaskar.